Welcome to our presentation, Network Society. My name is Marek Wyrwicki from Ericsson Poland.
And my name is Lindell. I'm from Ericsson in Sweden.
So we are happy to see you all on our presentation. Today we would like to take you in a short journey across to the mobile access technology. And why we are here, we would like to show the world between two mobiles. If you have a mobile phones, we are doing a lot of stuff which is in between, which is not visible, but very important in the communication. And vision of our company is a network society. So everything what can be connected, and if it's beneficial for the society, we aim for it. So you can mute your phones. You can, but you cannot switch it off because no one wants to switch the phones off. You can use the traffic data, mobile phones, and everything. You can use it, but mute it. Please not charge this one famous mobile phone, which can explode. I don't want to some extra. Yes, product placement here, but anyway, when I flew to Sweden last time on the plane, there were information not charge, even not use the phone, so could be danger. So please not charge it. So let's move.
Yes. So mobile communication, the easiest and most easy way of communicating is between two mobiles, right? Maybe you're using Snapchat or sharing pictures with some other application or whatever. Or maybe you're communicating towards a server, downloading some files and everything is up in the cloud. But let's have a look at this easy and very clean picture from another side, namely the network. So you have all seen these masts standing out in the surroundings everywhere and on the buildings and so on. We call them base stations in our company, and they are doing quite a lot. Of course, we have some problems also that is not in a network within the building where you are wired. We have buildings, we have trees, whatever that is in the way, and we also are not alone in this network. So while we're at it, why don't also add some Internet of Things, which we are already starting to see, but we foresee a big explosion in this. We will have connected cars, we will have connected whatever. You have your freezer at home, and companies are connecting their devices, etc. And all of this will use the network that we are providing. So here's your mobiles, and it's just to start to communicate. But there is one thing missing in this. There's one thing missing in this picture. So still, and of course that's mobility, because mobile networks is nothing without mobility. Then we are just a Wi-Fi system, right? And that also complicates things, of course. So in our base stations, these antennas that you can see here, we have a huge amount of code that we are actually running for you to be able to have some kind of communication between your application in the mobile towards another mobile or towards server in the cloud. And on the highest level, we can abstract the software into, of course, a platform dealing with all things in the hardware. Then we have the baseband, as we call it, and there you have the bit pipe where you actually get all your gigabits through, and that, of course, has to be quite a lot of code controlling that, also because it's radio communication involved. But then also the third layer is the control layer, and that's where Marek and me is working. The control layer has to know where the mobiles are, what they are doing, how they are moving, what they are allowed to do, etc. And so that's huge amount of code just to keep track of everything. So if anyone can guess how many lines of code we have just in this control layer. That was not a guess, right? That was exactly spot on. Yeah. So about 3 million lines. Yeah?
It's a part of our system, but it's a huge amount of code to control the mobility of the mobile phones. It's C++, C.
Yeah. Mainly
it's hardware.
Yeah. Yeah.
So mainly in C, and it's plenty. It's millions of lines of code. We have also, in this picture, this is the weather condition also, which needs to be considered, because mobility is not so easy issue to sort it out, but you know, it's working.
Yeah. So far. So let's give a short
picture or movie about how the world looks like today. So the short snapshot of what is going on. So it was in 15 seconds how the today's world looks like, and this network society idea, it's not something which we invented, but it's surrounding us. Those are people who are using mobile technology. Those are things like mobile phones, user equipment devices, and other connected devices. And also there are big ideas which could be implemented using this all technology behind, which is not visible for every particular mobile user. And the society is very demanding. There is a need for speed in the network. 15 years ago, or beginning of 90s, the second generation GSM was launched, and many people were start using, and now we have LTE, and we would like to show you the yes, you can see the small differences or huge differences between those technology which are still present. There's not something old and new. They are all coexist right now. So if you need in your application coverage, let's use 2G GSM because it's everywhere. Small cities, villages, everywhere.
Yes, out in the countries, if you also want to have something cheap, it should just tell the system or the network that it's alive, or maybe report some figures how much electricity you have consumed. Then it's usually that we use 2G system because it's the chips that we want to have are very cheap in consideration to 3G, 4G, and then coming 5G, of course. And then when we need a lot of data because the application needs that, then we should consider other technologies.
Mm-hmm. And if you have question, you can just shoot. Yes, we just put two very important limitation also. So for your information, that the speed 2G is around 100 to 400 kilobits per second, and LTE is till 5 megabits per second, and very low latency. So we are aiming for 5G right now, and speed even faster, even higher numbers, and latency, which is very important for some industries, could go less than 5 milliseconds. So time to content could be much more visible, and the systems which could be used, like security systems or safety car systems, needs no waiting for some data, because you can cause accident if there is a waiting time or some information are not passed on time. Right now, we achieved that in downlink 1 gigabits per second via network to the mobile. And I tried to check yesterday if there is any capable device to adapt this 1 gigabits per second, and so far the Qualcomm is preparing the chipset, and possibly next year you will be able to buy the devices. So 1 gigabits per second, it's available through the mobile access network. So it's a huge pipe of data, and due to the fact that you're demanding this data. The question is right now, do you know how the growth, yes, the growth of the data traffic in the couple of, let's say, 4 or 5 years?
Yes. From now until 2021, the growth of traffic data run through smartphones. How much it? Mm-hmm.
But from your user perspective.
So if we stand from now and look at 2021, how much have we growth? How much have the growth been in mobile data?
Sorry?
10 times? Close? A bit too much. 12. And 10 was close enough, I think.
This is just a prediction, yes? Yeah. This is what we observe in our network, how people use the network, how the generation changed, and how people start to use the mobile phones, and content which is possible to download. So our predictions are 12.
Yeah, and these predictions, they are never right, and we are always surprised that it goes faster and more, etc. So far, at least.
So far, so the data consumption will be growing up, and you as developers of mobile applications, mobile systems, you can shape the society, because your application can download more data, or when you just content provider to show the web pages with a lot of nice stuff like video included, or I don't know what can be included in the web pages, but everything. So we can see that the data will be growing very, very fast. So let's move to the next next picture. I just would like to show what is the application which could consume the most data. What do you think? What kind of application they can be in the close future? The browser? No.
It's a bit too general, right?
Too general, yes. Video streaming, yes. This is the right answer, because we see that there is a youngster generation which only use the streaming video. What is surprising me, I feel young, but when I read it and observe my daughters, there is no, they could survive without cable TV. It's just a connection to the network and online streaming. And this streaming is an application which will be the most consuming data in the close future. Even right now, it's a huge, but it will be 4 times more. So every device could be able to download a high definition video, and
yeah, and we see it already in all social networks and on the newspapers, on the online. You always have a lot of videos starting whether you want it or not. Embedded videos that start whether you want it or not.
But maybe for you, for your developers, it's interesting that other like file sharing, or I don't know if it's visible so far, it's so good, but the other way of other I just try to read it, but social network also cause some impact on data traffic, file sharing, audio, but the most visible growth we predict in video streaming. So this will be the killer application, but we would like a provider of the network, please use those data wisely.
Yes, yes.
Christer has some observation.
Yeah, later on then. But as we saw in the first picture I showed with the network there, that there's a lot of things that want to have these big bit pipes that we're creating, and of course it's good to consider that when you're doing your applications.
But you need to pay for this, or it's just...
No, it was their plan. I remember it was T-Mobile idea to increase the usage of this of data when you use your phone, especially in places where this connectivity is limited. Yes, so they had a plan to cut the advertisements from the websites you visit. Yeah, so they could decrease this loading times. Did you happen to match with that requirement, or?
No, we have not dealt with that requirement actually.
We deliver to customer the network and with some limitations.
Yes.
And how they tune it and use it.
And what data is run on it, we are actually not controlling at all. So there are of course possibilities for the operators to see what's running on it, and they can do whatever they want with it. But that's first time I heard about exactly that one. Otherwise, of course, we have our internet providers. They are coming with a lot of questions and requirements on the network, how they want it to work. And that's a challenge for us, of course, because every internet provider wants to have it their way, of course, and we are trying to keep it together to one product. So we're trying to moderate between the different requirements from internet providers.
I saw the new measurement called time to content. So the operators or just users are measured when the time to content is below 6 seconds. If you just click for the data, then if you wait up to 6 seconds, it's okay. You are not frustrated. If this time is going up, then you start as a user to be frustrated. And I saw that the time to market, time to content is one of the measures which show the operators how to tune the network and how to give the users of the particular network happy or much more happy, or stay with this operator or not. So I saw when I read this report and data that time to content is very important. So less than 6 seconds is okay. I just start to thinking. If for me 6 seconds waiting is okay, and yeah, I think it's acceptable. So this is the world around, and of course when we deliver the pipe with the data, we observe, and you observe, that our behavior changed. Last 10 years, no one will be predicted when you woke up, you check the weather on your mobile, you check how many likes or hates you received your post, and you can just pay your bills from your mobile, just you woke up and forget about paying for something. So 10 last years changed our life, and we don't know how the life will change in next 10 years. So there are some examples of Uber in which also is possible to use it, and Airbnb to book the hotel and stay for a night, Facebook, e-commerce, and I said that if I would I ask you to voluntarily turn off data traffic for 1 week, who is able to do it without any force? Just turn off the data traffic from your mobile for 1 week, just 1 week.
Anyone?
It is possible, okay. So 1 for 10, yes. But it's much more difficult to turn it off. It's like electricity right now, the data traffic in your mobile.
Yes.
This is the world which we observed, and the network is trying to answer this question, so give the data.
Yeah, and all of you are inventing new ideas and trying to use it even more, and coming up with things that we haven't thought of already, so that's great.
And we have a question, of course, related to, we are in Central Europe, so Christer?
Yes. So at the moment, then, number of subscriptions per individual in Central Europe, and then
mobile subscription.
Yeah, sorry.
Mobile
subscriptions, of course, and we're including children from birth in, and also your grandma and grandpa, etc. So how many subscriptions per individual do you think we have already out there, if we're counting everything?
3 per person. No, subscription, so means the mobile subscription, so the SIM card, let's say, per individual. But let's Central Europe, it's...
It depends on country, of course, absolutely.
Any?
That was a bit closer. 1.1 was down there.
According to our measurement,
yeah,
it's 1.4. So very good answer. So all mobile subscriptions are much more than population of many countries. In Western Europe is 1.3, and in average in all over the world is just 100%. So just every single citizen all over the world could be covered by subscription.
Yeah.
7.3 billions of mobile subscription all over the world. So it's a huge market where you are playing the applications, systems which are using mobile technology. It's a huge market.
Yeah.
Of course, some can be not used. Some people are using different mobile subscription for different usage, just optimize the cost and reason why they have more SIM cards and numbers than one. So let's move to another step in the mobile world, the Internet of Things. We would like to show what changes are happening right now. According to also our measurements, in next year or 2 years, the mobile devices will be much more than people's mobile phones, let's say, in the network. So let's start and see one inspirational video how can the things could be connected. and how the ideas and the technology could be used by you or your colleagues. You are biking or just cycling to work, to university. Every day, almost every day, and you can see how we can use technology to make it much more secure or safe.
My name is Sascha Heiniger. I'm working for Volvo Cars, and we're here at CES at the Ericsson booth, which we're very happy to be, to show a world-first concept. It's a concept about connected safety, which is a new step, we think, in the world of making traffic safer. What we show here is that now we can connect cyclists and cars through the cloud. What we need is two GPS positions, one of the car, one of the bicycle. The one of the car we have it for sure, and the cyclist, he has to open an app on his smartphone, a popular app like Strava for instance, that cyclists use, and then we have a GPS position of the cyclist as well. Through the cloud we can then calculate the two GPS positions according to speed and direction if they're about to collide. And if we calculate this, we can warn both. So the car driver, he can get a warning, a head-up display in the car that a cyclist is approaching, and we're pointing to the direction where that is from. And the cyclist can get it through his helmet, because we can connect the helmet through Bluetooth to his smartphone. And then what he gets through the helmet is a warning light alert, and also the helmet will buzz. So then he knows he's about to collide with something he hasn't seen yet, and he can brake. And that's what we're showing here on this setup with this professional biker here.
We can stop it here. It's just idea. I just think about if many bicycles will just cross the roadside going every day to work by bike, and this Volvo driver could just receive the information left, right, and never pass the road. But I see many people just mobile zombie, just walking like this, and maybe should be warned. Okay, you are crossing the road and should stop. But you see the next step, the 5G technology. It's developed due to the fact that many more devices will be connected in the network. And it will be billions of devices in a couple of years. And the network needs to handle all of them.
Yes, and what you saw there was something that the car industry and the network industry together has found out and invented. And there are a lot of more of those things we think that will be possible to do, and we haven't even thought of yet. And that's also where you, as application developers, are a big part and have the huge possibilities to make a change.
As I read about the alarm clock connected with the traffic control systems, just to wake up a little bit earlier, then notice your way to work will be much more crowded or it's something, and then propose 15 minutes woke up earlier or later. Just funny application. I don't know if I would like to be woke up 15 minutes earlier due to the fact that there's a traffic jam somewhere and the system warned me to be on time at work. So
it should only be used in one way, when you can have a bit more time.
It will wake you up earlier when it's snowy and you have to...
Its weather condition is changing, or it's even better, so you can just sleep a little bit longer. So both directions. So you can see the sky is the limit with the application. As I understood, yes, this is the just summary or just big picture of what the 5G looks like.
Yeah, and of course we have talked about a bit about that. A lot of things will be connected, not only mobiles, and then we come to the energy efficiency. Of course, that if you put a chip into something, let's say your fridge or the car, you don't want to have to charge it all the time or you switch it. So the energy efficiency is extremely important, that we can get working, and things should be possible to work without any interruption for maybe 10-15 years. And imagine that now when you have to charge your mobile once or twice a day at the moment, right?
For sure, for 5G still you need to charge your mobile, but for the autonomical systems, put it in the river somewhere to report the polluted river or not, they could survive 10 years or 15 years without any intervention.
Yeah. Data rates, of course, and that will mainly be in crowded places, cities, etc., where we need all these high data rates in volume. Traffic volume, everything will be connected. All the cars and everything that we see on this picture will be connected. I've read about system where the light traffic, the street lights are following the persons, and so you don't spend too much energy in lightening up where no one is going at the moment, and so everything is connected then in this
and you can see how
future.
Many data will be sent via system from all devices will be connected to the old clouds, and you could use some interface to just try to handle the data. So not only the collecting data, but make a decisions based on many different data and make our life better, faster. Some businesses going even better, or just invent new business based on the huge amount of data. In 5-6 years time, it could be a 5-7 devices per person connected.
Yes, and latency reliability. When I started at Ericsson a long time ago, we talked about, come on, it's only a mobile system, and that was based on, of course, that we had to call to each other with the mobiles, and if we had some interruptions, really didn't matter, right? And when we lift the phone and want to call someone, we can wait a couple of seconds. But when we see all these new applications, security applications that we saw with the car industry, other security things that you will have, your home alarm, etc., connected, then you want it to work immediately, no delays, and you also want to have it reliable, standing up all the time. So these are very important requirements that we see is coming. And will probably grow even more depending on what you invent with the applications, of course.
What else?
Yeah.
I don't know what is...
Yeah. Should we have a look at next?
Yes, there will be some more examples of where the technology could be used.
So you see what's on this picture? It's a huge ship, cargo ship with maybe hundreds of containers, yes, and it doesn't really seem to be a place where you really need connectivity and mobility, etc. But we actually already have systems working there, and if you click once more. Each of these containers are actually connected with a chip, and then you have a system. You have a local network on the ship actually.
Of course, on the ocean there is no coverage.
No. But so the ship itself is a network, and then you send signals also into some servers at shore. Then and so the logistic companies, they can keep track on all their different containers, but you can also have security on the containers. If it's a cooling container, it has to be controlling some temperature or other conditions for the container, and something is broken, then you can get the signal from that directly, of course, to start with on the boat and try to fix it immediately. So the companies are using it and are able to use this technology to optimize their own business.
And save money.
And they save money, and everyone is happy. So next
one is vehicles and communication system, but I just click it for like this.
Yeah. And there's a lot of applications there that can is already thought of, but also a lot of things that we haven't thought of yet. So what we have seen so far and come up with is, of course, you have read about these cars driving themselves and
Crossing Europe.
Crossing Europe, and we have these trails of lorries that are moving together and keeping track on each other. And I think this one that you see in the big picture to the right is quite cool, actually. That with the right technology, we can in one car use all the cameras, etc., that you already have in the car in front of you, and by that also see right through the car before you. Yet again, then only the ideas and
your ideas
are the limitations on what is possible to do, actually.
And our job, we need to deliver the system which handle the data.
Yep.
And something out of the box.
Yeah, very, very much out of the box. You know more about this.
It's vineyard, so you can control the condition of the vineyard from remote. So there were some dedicated sensor put it across some very famous vineyards somewhere, and the company who is handling the vineyard exactly knows the weather condition, how good the grapes are on the different size, and can just put only the harvest on the place where everything is ready, and not harvest everything on the same time. So it was designed to survive weather conditions and also deliver the value at the end. So much optimal handling of vineyard.
Yeah. And the first step is to just tell the user that now it's time to actually harvest. The next step is, of course, that we can have automation in the harvest. What's it called?
Combine.
Yeah, but so when you have an area where the system is saying, okay, now it's time to harvest here, and all these machines are going out by themselves and harvest and stop harvest where you think that it's still not ready, and so that's probably hopefully the next step then, and we see a lot of those things.
Yes. The remote control of the machines, the construction machines, could be handled also with the system. So it's many examples how the data through the network, mobile network, could be used. And we see that if so many information you can collect, you can act very efficient. And we see that as a users of mobile application, everyone would like to download something cheap or for free, but you see there are some businesses like this containers of the ship. If there's a logistic company, they want to pay for the application which secure the all deliveries chains. If everything what is inside the containers keep the good quality due to the cooling system is working well crossing the oceans, and they can pay for such kind of applications because they do the business, then optimize it. And on the other hand, the companies collect huge amount of data, and presenting the data and dealing with the data, analytic thinking is also quite good area to play with, algorithm. So we would like to show and present something what is in between the mobile phones. Yep. And I hope that this is our last slide, yes, the summary. So the examples you can see everywhere. And our life changed last 10 years and 20 years when the mobile phones show up. And Christer has experience in Krakow with a good application for the public transport.
We shouldn't mention where it was, actually.
Yes, in Krakow.
But to start with, then a lot of things we already thought of and we are thinking of, but we come from the networks. But you are application developers, and you have another thinking and see it from the other side, and that's good. But of course, you then ask why should we bother about the network? We should only be there and work, right? And that's of course the vision for us as well. no one should actually notice that we are there because everything is working perfectly. But there are limitations, as you saw in the first picture. We have weather conditions, we have buildings, we have everything that is trying to make it hard for us in our communication when it comes to mobile communication, right?
It's very crowded.
Very crowded as well. And everyone wants to have this, so we are trying to push the limits 1.2 gigabits now and even further, but everyone has to share that. So when it comes to what applications you do, it's of course important to know about this situation. I'm sure that you all have seen applications that are not that good designed, that you have to wait for something and you don't really know why, etc. And this example that Marek mentioned there, I'm living in Krakow and downloaded this app that should show me the timetables for the tram. I don't know if it's the same here or not, but this one is showing for Krakow. And it annoys me very much because every time I start it, I get a message, you have to download the new data from the database. And every time I start it, and I think, how often do they actually change the timetable on the tram in Krakow? I don't know, but it can't be every time, right? And if I don't have the connection at the moment, I don't want to download at the moment. Maybe I have used all my data for the month. I don't know.
Consider the limitation of the users, that you have the limits of the data transmission.
Yeah. But still, then it's not working. Sorry, we can't show you anything because you haven't downloaded the last data from the database. So that's a very typical example where the application designer didn't really think of how it's going to use and all the limitations that you can see for the user and the network then. So that's good to think about where you use it and why you use it. Of course.
Of course.
We're already planning that. No. Well, these 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, that's the standardization, pushing how much data actually we are able to shuffle around, and from that point of view, of course, I'm sure that we will not stop at 1.2 gigabits, which is the lower limitation for 5G at the moment. So in that sense, we will be pushed up and being able to handle very much more data, I'm sure. If we need to have different technologies by that and then have a technology shift or not, that's hard to say at the moment. But
so just remember that all technologies, access technologies still exist. So GSM, WCDMA, LTE, 5G, they are coexist, different purpose. So coverage is 2G, 3, 4, 5G is data traffic, faster and faster, lower latency. Remember that users has a limitation of the subscription. Let's say 2 gigabytes of data traffic per month. And use this in your design wisely. And if there is no coverage, the application should maybe work with some local data. I don't know, but there are limitations. But we for sure do the task to be invisible and deliver just the pipe with data, with time to content less than 6 seconds.
Exactly.
So this is all what we would like to present, and we are happy that you ask questions and you arrive early morning.
Thank you very much.